So far, the John Cena heel run has been fine. Not bad, but not great either. Just fine. He's getting massive reactions all over the world, but that was pretty expected. He could walk out there in a pink bunny suit and talk about Fortnite for 2 hours every week at this point, and still get the biggest reaction of the night. He's John Cena, he's the face of the industry, plus fans have spent decades clamouring for it at this point, so they're probably just glad it's happening at all for the most part. But for pedantic internet types like you and I, WWE's execution of the turn may have left a little to be desired. There are a few key areas they could have made a little stronger during this limited time only run, and if you'll allow, we'll delve a little deeper into what we mean. This is Sportskeeda Wrestling, my name is Liam, and today we're taking a look at how WWE could have improved John Cena's heel run so far. But before we go any further, don't forget to hit subscribe and click the little bell icon to help us out on our push to 200,000 subscribers. We would be very grateful. Thank you, and on with the video. Fans were pretty devastated to see face John Cena lose out on a Royal Rumble victory to Jey Uso in January 2025. Given that this was Cena's last run with the company, they wanted their hero to go out with as much fanfare as possible. Little did they know, WWE had something planned. Just a short time later at Elimination Chamber, Cena beat out 5 other wrestlers to earn himself a WWE title shot at WrestleMania 41. He was joined in the ring by Cody Rhodes and then The Rock, and then for some reason The Rock's little buddy, Travis Scott. In this segment, Cena booted Cody and his little grandson of a plumber and embarked on a villainous streak of mild proportions, but not before Travis Scott busted up the American Nightmare's eardrum for real. And this is where the first problem presents itself, in that the actual heel turn itself felt more about The Rock, who hasn't really shown up since, and somehow Travis Scott, who is not even a wrestler. It was still a memorable moment, but it wasn't the history-making Hogan in the NWO moment that the WWE had hoped for. A simple fix for this would be to not have Travis Scott present in the ring at the time, and that's literally all they would have had to have done differently. Maybe have The Rock come out when Cena reached the stage, as he left the ring, to do some kind of ominous and dramatic stare, which WWE could revisit at a later point. We understand that Travis Scott was present for his crossover appeal, but John Cena and The Rock are already crossover stars. Adding a musician to the mix doesn't really do anything for the story. It's not like he was Mike Tyson at WrestleMania 14, because Mike Tyson was the World Heavyweight Boxing Champion and the baddest man on the planet, and Travis Scott is a rapper who carries around a fake WWE Hardcore Championship. Cena embarked on his World Farewell Tour as a heel, with no difference other than a slightly meaner attitude and a scaled-back Titantron graphic. These were indeed heelish traits, but WWE could have gone a little further with it. Even something as simple as Cena coming out in a plain black t-shirt with no baseball cap. It would be in fitting with the minimalized graphics after all. They could even go as far as giving him no entrance music, but they probably didn't want to miss out on those extra loud John Cena sucks chants during the entrances on his final run. Because as everybody knows in 2025, singing along to theme songs at wrestling shows is cooler than the wrestling itself. But as John Cena himself said, we get nothing. And that phrase seems to be WWE's perfect excuse to half-arse it through this whole thing. Oh, he said from the beginning that you get nothing, they'll say, and we won't be able to disagree because he did. That's very clever, WWE, and we can't tell if you meant to do it or not. Another drawback that presented itself quickly into the run was that there were only around 30 to 40 dates on the entire tour. Not matches, dates, as the man himself said. These were always likely to be spread out throughout the year. With Big Match John dropping in and out sporadically, with the occasional match here and there to remind everybody that this is in fact wrestling that they are watching. But with so many potential match programs for Cena in such a limited amount of time, it's very hard to cook up meaningful stories given his limited presence on screen. Instead, a lot of the matches rely on prior history, or relied on the other wrestlers in the feud to do the work. This was evident at WrestleMania 41, where the biggest match of the night with the highest stakes felt like the opposite of those things. We get that Cena is limited by both his age and his schedule, but for WrestleMania they could have done something. A brawl, an attack of some kind, maybe just a few extra appearances. I mean, The Rock showed up to beat Cody with a belt the previous year, and Cena didn't do anything like that in 2025. The match itself was passable, albeit a bit bereft of memorable spots, and there was a special guest appearance that led to the finish. Not by The Rock, as everyone suspected, but by Travis Scott instead. He came down to the ring, ate a crossroads for his troubles, and provided just enough of a distraction for Cena to win his 17th world title. WWE was clearly going for crossover appeal with a widely popular musical artist like Travis Scott. It's always going to bring extra eyes to the product, but John Cena was already enough of a draw that they could have utilized Scott elsewhere on the card. However, due to The Rock being unable to attend the event for whatever reason, Scott was sent in his place because they are the same, obviously. Instead of coming off like a cool multimedia crossover, it came off like one giant ad for Travis Scott, his music and his line of Cactus Jack merch. It also left people wondering where The Rock might be, once again making John Cena's final run about anyone other than John Cena. If WWE insisted on outside involvement, it really should have been The Rock, and him alone, considering The Rock and Cena are synonymous with each other at this point. Should have been at WrestleMania, he should have been the distraction, and they should have aligned officially in the biggest two-man power trip since the two-man power trip. They could have even put a heel Roman Reigns with them, made them a three-man power trip, and then watched them become the most formidable group in wrestling history. WWE could even have made use of that Break-A-Wish Foundation name that they were allegedly cooking up a few months ago. Back in reality, however, the following months saw Cena do some great work with both Randy Orton and R-Truth, playing on some much-beloved Cena lore. It also gave us some of the better promos of his run, where he noted that he was going to be ruining wrestling, and that he'd been raising the WWE fans' kids better than them for the last 15 years. This was impassioned, angry promo work, and really showed some of the John Cena of old, full of that ruthless aggression that made him famous to begin with. He even dumped R-Truth through a table at a press conference after Ron Cena helped his childhood hero John to defeat Randy Orton. These angles worked so well because of John's already established connection to Randy Orton and R-Truth. CM Punk's upcoming match with Cena, set to take place at Saudi Arabia at Night of Champions, is based on similar principles and should deliver more of the same quality that we've seen in the programs with both Truth and Randy Orton. This pre-existing history means that these stars don't need as much time to build a program in the same way that a Cody Rhodes or a Jey Uso or a Logan Paul would, for example. At Saturday night's main event during the build to Money in the Bank 2025, a returning Cody Rhodes announced he would be teaming with Jey Uso to take on the team of Cena and Logan Paul. Theoretically a great idea given that the company has high hopes for Logan Paul as a heel. Why not let him share the ring with one of the biggest names in the company? One would imagine they could do some truly diabolical things together, except not during this build because they just stood in the ring and talked smack to Jey and Cody, as Cena garnered the cheapest of cheap heat from the live crowd when he loudly proclaimed that Logan Paul was better than any active professional wrestler, and that we were all just jealous of that. This was bare minimum and the very least you might expect, but again, with the limited time available on Cena's schedule, you have to make do with whatever build you can get. They, in fairness, did tease a little bit of friction between Cena and Logan during the build. Plus, they did the whole R-Truth is leaving, R-Truth is not leaving stuff in accordance with the match, which was cool and definitely part of the plan the whole time, or so WWE would have you believe. And with a name like John Cena, the match sold itself whether we want to admit that or not. We just wish he was acting a little more, well, evil. He comes across bitter and a little frustrated, and more like he's trolling than being a genuinely mean person, even when he put R-Truth through the table. Just give us more reason to hate him. Nobody's saying he needs to push Zach Gowen down the stairs in a wheelchair like Brock Lesnar did in 2003, or push Zack Ryder off the stage in a wheelchair like Kane did in 2012. Wow, WWE really has a thing about hurling dudes named Zach from great heights in wheelchairs, doesn't it? Cena doesn't have to be making the kids in the front row cry, is the point, but it wouldn't hurt to try every now and again. But WWE could learn a thing or two about presenting an authentic heel Cena by watching the likes of MJF over on AEW. He always goes the extra mile to bring in the boos, he's a bad guy, boo all you want, he doesn't give a fuck. Maxwell Jacob Friedman is aided in his heelishness by AEW's TV 14 rating, as opposed to the WWE's TV PG rating. But as we've seen with The Rock's foul-mouth antics in recent times, and even the occasional shit or asshole from the commentary team, WWE isn't opposed to some adult content where it's warranted. But John Cena is a big enough name to get away with it, even if WWE creative doesn't necessarily approve. He can go out there and spice things up with some colourful language or some brutal bloody violence, and he can even go off script and talk about things that he's not supposed to. Anything. WWE may shit their pants about it initially, but it's the type of thing that has typically retained audience interest and brought back lapsed fans in the past. A lot more than crossovers with rappers and actors have, but as is often the case with these things, WWE will make a lot of money from it regardless. Even if they do the bare minimum with him, bare minimum of John Cena is still John Cena. They'll sell out every building, have the loudest crowds possible, and still be talked about by us internet types whatever happens, good, bad, exciting or bland. Even if the moments aren't the most memorable or the most shocking, they're still going to be good. But it is often the little details here and there, in the grander scheme of things, that turn good angles into great ones. After all, you don't have to move mountains to move needles. Just make sure the focus is on John Cena, because this is his last run after all. And with a career like he's had, he deserves all the grandeur and fanfare that WWE could possibly provide him with, rather than have the whole thing feel rushed to an end by both sides, with a that'll do kind of approach. This might not even feel like John John Cena's final run from how it's been booked so far, and that almost makes you wonder if he's being entirely truthful about retiring at the end of it. But that, however, is a conspiracy theory for another video at another time, because once again, that is all we've got time for. What did you think of this video? Do you agree with our takes? Would you do things differently? Are you satisfied with John Cena's heel run so far? You can give us all your thoughts in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling to see more content like this. You can also enable those notifications so you never miss one of these videos when they drop. You've been watching Sportskeeda Wrestling, my name is Liam, and we will see you in the next one.